Hello, and welcome into another episode of Untold Stories, a weekly D&D campaign set in the world of Elvoria. We are back with these wonderful humans to roll some dice, attempt some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. As always, we have a few announcements at the top, so I will pass over to Andrew.
Andrew? There's no Andrew here. Why, it is I, Douglas Winkleton Smythe, advertising extraordinaire and bard across the realms. And today I bring you another tale from the marvellous Ramble and Rhoam, those who have been out charting those realms of wonder. Now today I tell you about Bartholomew, who is mopping his brow as he ventures deep into the sultry heart of the Elysian Gardens. He's on the hunt for a rare deep purple flower, a jewel amidst the lush wilderness. His notes crinkle in his hand as he spots a cluster of purple up ahead. This has to be it, he mutters. But as he steps forward, his boot presses against a sinuous root that suddenly stirs. His eyes dart upwards just in time to see the looming carnivorous pit leaf poised to strike. With only a split second to react, Bartholomew's venture takes a thrilling turn. But how might this exciting twist unfold? Well, why not go to Kickstarter.com to back Ramble and Rhoam's Realms of Wonder by the Runic Press team and create the end of the story for yourself. With 13 unique subclasses, new spells, monsters, items, and more, Ramble and Rhoam's Realms of Wonder offers you the chance for a boundless whimsical adventures to delight. So follow the link in the description and back it today. And away! How do you keep getting in here? Right. Hello there. We've got a podcast. That's right, the Unrolled Stories podcast is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. By the time this week's episode goes up, we should be up to about episode 10, maybe. It's around there. So you can listen to us clumsily stumbling around Gethin's plot while absolutely refusing to get involved, even though we are now locked in a dungeon underground with no other way out. So the plot might just hit us at this point. So go, give us a listen, write a review, and we might pay you. This is not a legally binding contract, and is in fact a massive lie. But go and watch us, give us a listen, give us a review on your favourite podcasting devices. And back to you, Gethin.
One of these days you're going to get me in trouble. Yes, wonderful. I think this will be the last few days of the Kickstarter as well, so this will be your last chance to grab the book if you want it. And as always in this game, we make use of the Reimagined Classes that are available on the DM's Guild. If you wish to embody Balrick, Lesley, Aderyn, or Ximori, or whatever creation amongst that at your own tables. And all NPC art is provided by Aderyn and Giolini's Art Venturing Guild, such as Joanna. The character art that you'll see on all of our frames is produced by @LiveDoodles, and the Chibi battle map art was made by WeTheDreamingDesigns. Definitely check out those artists if you can and support real artists. With those announcements out of the way, I think it's time to continue telling our story. Last time out, deep in the sewers, you were running away from an elemental made of alchemist fire, a trap that had gained an element of sentience chasing you through the sewers. Through quick thinking, lung-bursting effort, and a few spells here and there, you initially evaded capture, and then with Joanna's thought process and a use of Dex cold magic, you managed to defeat the beast with a torrent of freezing cold water. Ximori had to touch an element of the dark side in order to successfully bait the creature, but a clever use of calm emotions from Aderyn and a lingering image of Tabitha in Ximori's mind calmed them down. After which you returned to the door you had opened to find Joanna's compass on the fritz, more heavily damaged, slightly melted, but the doorway open to the smithery within. Wanting to find an answer to your questions and possibly some other things, you headed into the smithery to find a old, damaged metalwork factory by the looks of it that seemingly was untouched by age, especially since it seemed to have been down here before the Empire was founded. You progressed through, came to a room full of storage vats where the liquid metal inside again seemed to gain sentience and attack you through intelligent use of heat-resistant clothing and Dex cold breath. You managed to escape without too much harm and continued on through the dungeon, which is where we will pick up as you have progressed through the tunnel, the doorway leading out of this chamber, and headed further in. You've come into a dark, unlit corridor. A number of you don't have dark vision. How are you lighting your way down here?
Ooh, that is a good
Dark
point.
vision.
Oh, we've had lanterns this whole time.
You're using the lanterns still, yeah?
Yeah, I've got my. So I think someone had a wide lantern doing the area around us, and I've got a bullseye lantern doing like
Just beaming down the corridor. Swiping down. In that case, Balrick, can you roll me a d6, please?
Yeah, Tauri's got the other lantern, I think.
Just so that we didn't drop them during fights and running and stuff. I assume we've got hooks on belts that we can.
Yeah, it's very like Bloodborne hip lantern style. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Bloodborne recently, so that's your problem.
You've been watching a lot of Luke Westaway recently.
And Eurogamer, to be fair. I've been watching. Anyway, can you roll me a d4 as well, please, Chris?
4 more flame elementals.
I'm going to say a D4 is way more like distressing than a D6. 4.
4.
Always feels like a D4 is an amount of enemies. D6 is like random. D4 is an amount of enemies.
You're wiping this beam down this corridor, and you've progressed a fair way down, taking a few more turns left and right, seemingly trying to find your way. Where you would expect there to be signage in places, it's either broken, been deformed, and is also not necessarily it's etched in ways that you don't necessarily have a full idea. You snap pieces that implies that this place is a metalworks, a smithery of some kind, but to the extent this place must have been huge. Eventually you come to a long, straight corridor, Balrick leading from the front, and as you're swiping this thing, there is a warmth coming from this corridor. And you can see in your beam light a long half pipe that is running along the rooftop, supported by a number of like curved U-struts bolted into the ceiling. But you can see that the damage that happened to this place has caused a number of the struts to warp, snap, or twist, meaning that the glowing hot liquid that is contained within this channel just gently swings side to side, and occasionally you see a as hot metal drops from the ceiling. Joanna comes up behind. Well, I don't think that's passing health and safety. But I do think we're on the right path.
What's health and safety? I am unaware of both of these ideas.
Don't worry about it. It tends to be something that gets in the way. Joanna just takes a look. I would strongly recommend not making any sudden noises or heavy footsteps down this corridor.
I would like to take this opportunity to chug those 2 health potions that Togrim gave me.
Certainly.
How much do they heal?
2d4 plus 2, but you're using it as a full action, so you get the max. So 10 on each one.
Thank you, Togrim.
So, assuming you wish to continue pushing on, I need everyone to make me a stealth check, please.
That means there's things.
Lesley succeeds.
I succeed.
Joanna does as well.
12. 12.
12, 18 from Togrim. Tauri?
26.
26, nice. Aderyn?
Wait, I didn't roll.
21.
Thank you.
I rolled fantastic.
And grab.
I rolled a 7.
And grab Aderyn again. Balrick covering Aderyn's ass.
As you are walking down, you can notice that, as I said, a number of the struts are broken and twisted that are causing this thing to swing. In its previous state, it would be completely fixed and have no motion at all. As you're heading down, a number of you are successfully just very softly treading. However, Ximori and Aderyn, as you're progressing along, Ximori, your foot catches on a piece of warped metal on the floor, and you stumble, and there's a loud clang as your foot lands heavily. And Aderyn, in response to that, you jump to the side, and your foot hits a broken spur of metal, sending it skittering down the hallway, making a loud, like, ringing noise as it goes down the hallway. I need both of you to make me dexterity.
The footsteps of elves are like... The footsteps of elves are like silent treads on the snow.
Nat 20.
Fucking 8.
8. Aderyn, you are still like fluidly in motion as that causes the thing to swing slightly from your heavy footsteps, and hot metal springs down. You spring out of the way and avoid it completely. Ximori, yours, as it swings back, comes straight down, cascading onto the side of you, and you take 6 points of fire damage.
Ow.
Be careful. Watch your steps.
Shh.
Quiet.
I am a very wide person in a very narrow laboratory.
And I'm a very tall person, and I'm still ducking down beneath it. I assume that this thing is
Tall,
like
wiry,
high on
sneaky
it.
person.
Just every so often, it's like, woo.
Like a boom on a ship. Joanna turns around. If you're going to be clumsy, I suggest maybe we find a way to secure it.
Can I just grab it?
You have all sorts in your bag of tricks, don't you?
I don't think I've got anything that could help.
Can I just grab it and just hold it still?
You very quickly realise this thing is quite hot, and if you continue to hold it, it will start to hurt.
I take out my flail that is partially a heat-resistant suit.
Okay.
Oh god, this is much lower down then.
In that case, can everyone make me stealth checks again? Ximori, you can make yours at advantage.
I'm very glad I had advantage.
What do we have,
Okay.
Ximori?
Natural 20 as opposed to natural 1. So 22.
Togrim.
16.
Tauri.
15.
Aderyn.
8.
And Balrick.
I'm also 22.
22. The natural 20 will wipe out the one failure. And Ximori just seeing Aderyn about to... Like, Aderyn's just watching the ceiling, trying to watch that. And Ximori, you see her about to walk into a collapsed piece of the wall that's like about half a foot out into the corridor. And you just with a strong but firm hand, just nudge her a foot to the right. And just keep walking. And you eventually come to the end of the corridor where this thing kind of seemingly goes into a wall elsewhere. Okay. So, health and safety violations are a thing to watch out for. Excellent. Still haven't found anything related to what went on here. Maybe we should start, looking for workers' spaces or something.
I look around and think, if I was a worker in this underground place, where would I sleep?
Yeah, she just starts, looking around. I think that way's the refinery itself. But I think that way would have been workers' stations. Do you want answers, or do you want to be done with here?
Are you trying to figure out where they would sleep?
Well, they wouldn't communal areas more.
So either that way or that way?
So communal areas would, I think, it's been a while and this whole place has shifted, be that way. I think the primary refinery, the best course of action is to follow the liquid pipeline.
I'm up for investigating the refinery itself.
Okay.
Yeah, if that's what people want to do.
I'm out of my comfort zone here, so I'm following others.
Okay.
I don't even want to be here, so...
Well, if I get this repaired, I'll
cleaner.
get you out relatively quickly. I promise. And if we're going to the refinery, I should be able to repair it. So... Sorry. Onwards, then. And I need someone else to roll me a d6.
I can do it.
Yep. Hey, Aderyn, at least it's cleaner
5.
here.
We are getting through the system. Roll me a d4.
True, I suppose.
Oh, God.
A 1.
Excellent.
Not just me.
You head down the corridor, and then there are a number of doors off to the left and right. But they're all kind of smaller doors leading to single doors rather than something that would look like a main refinery chamber. But you do come across a door that is, as the corridor turns a hard right angle to the right, there's a door up ahead that is slightly ajar. That Joanna looks at it and she goes, maybe I am more lost than I thought. That's the break room. Which implies we're probably quite close to the refinery if they put that close. So it looks around the corner. You can see down that far end of the corridor a large, double width, solid metal door that's fully shut. And then there's the door that was the break room, that the door itself appears to have buckled and broken off its hinges and fallen into the room. I mean,
The main doors?
there might be answers in the break room. I mean, find out what happened to the people here.
I don't really know what we're here for.
I know what I'm here for, but also it's kind of changed. The nature
Might have
of
stuff.
sentient elements requires an answer that I'm not exactly going to leave left unfound.
Well, we were here to clear the
There's
sewers.
break room, there might be bodies that have stuff.
She starts walking into the break room. Those of you that
You've
follow...
all
Go on.
You've all already done a lot for me today, and I don't really care about this down here. But I mean, if you're curious, Togrim, and
We were sent down to clear the sewers, and I think this is a wider issue with the sewers, isn't it?
Yeah, a random door in the sewers, but I'm interested what was made down here.
I am very interested in what was made down here, and any notes we find, if any are left.
Okay, so there is a reason to be here then. Okay, fine. Let's go.
I mean, it's not like we can come back later. I don't think they'd let us back into the sewers.
No.
I'm gonna mentally tell.
You're right.
Reach out to Ximori, and say, "Don't worry, I'll stay close to you, okay? If you start feeling, a little bit beastly, just nudge me, and I can tell you some nice stories."
Message back with my slightly horrible telepathy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Who goes into the break room? Who doesn't? What do you do?
All of us?
I think we would just follow in.
You come into a fairly spacious break room, probably about 10 or so tables, like long oblong tables that could probably fit 6 to 8 people on each one. So clearly a large workforce used to work here. There are tables and chairs, each covered with a very thin layer of dust, but no signs of degradation or oxidization or rust. The first thing that grabs your attention, though, is that on maybe about half a dozen of the tables, there are bodies under sheets. You can find Joanna having moved through and has lifted up one of the sheets and looked at and started looking at one of the figures.
Are they completely dead?
Like people?
Joanna just looks up. They seem to be remarkably well preserved. They haven't woken up or anything.
They look like people?
Yeah.
Questions the GM.
Well, from the one, roll me a perception check, unless you've got closer.
I have dark vision. Every chance I get. 16.
16. From what you can see, yes. From your distance, kind of near the doorway, they appear to be humanoid. Well, they were human at some point. This one is not had a good end. And puts the sheet back over respectfully. Begins to move through.
Somebody must have covered them all in these sheets. So this is a bit strange, right? Who would leave the bodies down here? If you're going to find the bodies, then surely you would take them up to the city to bury them properly.
Which implies that they possibly couldn't make it up to the city?
Well, in that case, there should be one body, at the very least one body that isn't covered, who covered everybody else and then died, or they got away. In which case, why haven't they let anybody know about this?
Who else is entering the room? Properly, rather than just by the doorway.
I go in as
Yeah,
well.
I'll enter.
Roll me investigation checks.
How many bodies are there?
Well.
6.
12.
19.
Ximori, you head over to one of the bodies and you pull the blanket back. Underneath, you see a humanoid man, quite high cheekbones, slightly tanned or weather-worn skin, dark hair. But the main thing you see on them is that they're covered in burns. Acid burns, fire burns, you're not quite clear, but their skin is heavily disfigured. Tauri, as you kind of advance through, Joanna is continuing to look at other bodies. You see in the corner of the room there is a small kind of alcove chamber. It's almost like a private room, or like some places have like communal prayer rooms kind of thing, like multi-faith ones, that kind of thing, where it's just like off to the side but still part of the communal space that you can see there. This actually has a wooden door on it rather than metal.
This is a different door. Sorry. My mind went blank. What did I find? I found a wooden door.
Yeah.
Just a wooden door, yeah? Cool. Can I just slowly open the door?
Can indeed. You open the door and inside find a small office almost, with a small desk. They're relatively Spartan in uniform, a couple of what look like filing cabinets in the room. And the thing you see there is another body, remarkably well preserved, still wearing leathers and worker gear. This is a broad-shouldered half-elf. There, as I say, even like their hair seems to be preserved to an extent. It's decayed and thinned, but like
it's surprisingly well preserved.
Yeah, roll me a medicine check.
That's 21.
21. You look at their figure, and they are, while broad, thin. Their skin is emaciated and clinging to their form, and based on the hollowness of the kind of the stomach area, you're all but certain this person died of starvation.
I definitely think they were trapped here. I'll call out and then I'll have a look.
Roll me investigation.
21.
21 again?
Sorry, no, 30-20.
You take a look around. A number of the filing cabinets are locked, but the main thing that draws your attention is underneath this person's hand on the table is what looks like a diary or a notebook or kind of some worker's log kind of thing.
I gently take it out, try not to disturb the body as much as possible.
Easy
and I will have a look.
Do you stay in there or do you bring it out to everyone else?
If I've searched everywhere else and there's nothing else, then I'll bring it out.
Cool. The rest of you see Tauri come out holding a fairly thick book with a number of well-leafed pages through it. Joanna kind of puts down one more sheet. Some with burns, some without, but decayed. Something happened down here.
Perhaps this book will tell us more.
Possibly. What's in it?
I'll have a look.
Cool. You start flicking through, and the early accounts are focused on kind of, as I said, workers' logs, talking about the overall expansion of the Dalian smithery, added trade routes, the connection to the subcontinent of Hanumir, and the available connection to the rare resources there. But then you skip forward towards the end to try and find out what happened. And you find information within that basically details that the smithery collapsed below the city when the Tower of Sorcery, known as the Midnight Crescent Tower, collapsed and took a swathe of the city with it, and it collapsed completely seemingly sunk into the ground. The refinery's emergency systems kicked in and sealed up the entire building after numerous machines got damaged and started spilling dangerous chemicals. And goes on to talk about their efforts in trying to clean up the disaster, fix the damaged equipment, how a number of people were lost in the initial stages where molten liquid and acidic chemicals caused them horrific burns, and they were interred in the workers' space. But more than anything, there is a kind of continued growing frustration with something called the Arcane Intelligence that, despite their best efforts, refused to let them deactivate the systems that kept the refinery sealed in order to seek help and assistance in doing so.
It looks like they got trapped here by some kind of intelligence that put them into a lockdown. You said you've been here before.
To this refinery long before it was in this state, yes.
Do I know roughly when? Do I have any idea of the history?
Of what particularly?
Well, of what they're talking about with this tower of the collapsed or the city, or...
You can roll me a history check.
I'm going to go with no, because it's a 9 on the die for 13.
It's not something that you've studied. I mean, you'd previously discussed, at least in your own head or with others, I can't quite remember, the premise that the Empire built cities on the ruins of fallen ones. So, I mean, it's been over 700 years since the founding of the Empire.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
Cool. Well, it looks like this place got buggered over half a millennia ago.
Anything in the pockets, the bodies? I mean, if they all, were trapped here, then nothing left, right? Pick over the bodies.
What are you looking for?
Anything metal, anything sort of interesting.
Sure, roll me
any
investigation
coins. Just gone scavenger mode. That is 15 minus 1, 14.
You rifle through. You don't find anything of particular interest. Your assumption is that it's possible anything they had in terms of tools or keys or anything was taken off the dead bodies because they had no more use for it. Along with that investigation, as I said, you find that 4 of them are kind of burned, seemingly suffered their fate in the initial stages, and then 2 more of them are dehydrated, starved, just eventual passes.
I mean, whatever it is seems. I mean, these are 2 separate, times of body. I mean, unless something starved really, really, really quickly, but that doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, that seems very odd that the burned ones are preserved the same. You said there was something about an artificial something, an intelligence or an arcane intelligence in the book?
Yes, it doesn't really go into much other than they couldn't get it to let them get out.
Could we be going to find wherever that is next, I guess?
Arcane intelligences were... well, I wouldn't say common, but arcane systems were fairly prevalent during the era. prior to the awakening. It's possible this refinery had one in order to maintain its systems and emergency procedures. Can't say I've interacted with it personally. Might be worth trying to find it. It might have a record of everything that happened in full since, if it's still running.
Hopefully it doesn't consider us a problem, considering we broke in.
That's a horrifying thought. What if it thinks of us as an infection and it's got white blood cells? Or maybe it thinks of us as a rescue team and it'll be really helpful. Or maybe it's cracked.
We had to deal with two very angry lumps of molten metal.
Yes,
that shouldn't have been angry.
I don't know for certain, but it didn't feel like there was anything that happened in the immediacy for that to occur. So, frankly, I don't have the information.
We don't know necessarily that this arcane intelligence is in control of those things.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it definitely isn't, but it's something to consider.
Well, it might just be sort of, taking ideas from other people and replicating them, but in a slightly less logical way that doesn't quite fit together all when it, look at it compared to what a person would do. Something like that.
Perhaps.
Well, I don't think we're going to find many more answers here.
I was going to say, I think we need to find it to look at it more, don't we?
If it's anywhere, it will be in the refinery control room. Now, where that is, you can probably find it fairly easily through the refinery, but I will be honest, slightly concerned what will be in there if materials are becoming sentient. And it will be a primary refinery. So we could try to find another way around, or we could take the direct route through the refinery.
There isn't any sort of map or diagram of the place on the walls in here in the break room?
You've done thorough investigations at this point. It doesn't look like there is, no. But what you do notice is that there is actually another door out of this room, separate from the one you came in, seemingly like it could access other areas without having to move through the refinery or anything like that.
How about we try this one? And I'll go and try the door.
It is locked, but it feels like it's locked more like with a key lock rather than anything else.
Can anyone pull this open, you guys?
Right, let me get the old lock-picking skills ready. That's a 17.
Yeah, you pull the door off its hinges.
Right. Look, I kneel down next to the keyhole.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then we're just gonna.
You just shove the door through.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is and you feel the metal buckle initially under your hands, and the bolt, and then the hinges are nope. It just suddenly snaps off the side.
Right, it's picked.
Well, since you're the first through the door, can you roll me a d6, please, Andrew?
Oh, fuck. 5.
Cool, can you roll me a d4?
Oh, no. Three.
You come into a small room that has only 4 fairly cluttered desks, each one with a number of tools, kind of storage racks and the like. Upon close inspection, Tauri and Togrim, you would recognize these. These are inscribing tools. They're etching utensils, extremely precision chisels, that kind of thing that are used for inscribing on metalwork. There is another door that exits out the other side.
You like this sort of stuff, right, Togrim? I'm going to go see if that door needs picking.
Okay. Can I see if there's a nice, set of them that would fit in my bag?
Yeah, roll me an investigation check. Tauri?
I was also going to say, could I have a look, see if there's anything useful here?
Yeah, roll again.
18.
18?
I rolled an 8.
8. Tauri, you're just kind of looking around. Tauri, you can pick up one of these sets of tools. Both of you can. They would be masterwork inscribing tools. So they would give you a plus. I'm going to say, just due to the high roll, Tauri gets a +1 set. Togrim gets a +2 set. So anytime you're doing something like... It's not like a bespoke D&D tool set, but stuff that would be in this realm, you would have that bonus to the roll. These are incredibly high-quality equipment. The thing that you do also find, Togrim, though, is there is a small shelf along the side that contains a number of books that appear to be instruction books, guide books, kind of master's notes, as you were, that appear to be about metal inscriptions and the art of runecraft.
Probably take those with me as well.
Okay. Pocket them to read another time. The door. This one is not locked, it is just shut.
Right, good news. I don't need to pick this one.
Can you roll me a d4, please?
How many things stab me? 2.
Ahead, you opening this door, there is suddenly there is a corridor along, and you can hear down the far end a loud metal bashing sound, just from the darkness.
How far into the darkness? I have dark vision. I can see 60 feet.
You couldn't see what it was, but you can roll me a perception check for hearing if you want to try and gauge how far it was.
Oh dear. That is 8.
You don't know, but beyond 60 feet.
It's a really long corridor. I'm just going to quietly pull the door closed.
I do find it funny that in our brains playing D&D, 60 feet feels like a long corridor. It's 20 meters. It's like from here to the other side of my house. It's not even a corridor.
I can't run down that in 60 seconds. Right, there's...
What was through the door?
I mean, it's a corridor. Quite a short one, really. Only about sort of 20 meters long, really. But
Well, it was longer than that because it went dark.
I mean, it's longer than 20 meters, so that's it's an okay sort of corridor, you know, as corridors go. But there was sort of a metallic clanging noise, like metal hitting metal.
Well, that could
I couldn't see what that was. Yeah, like it was pretty
Sounds
rhythmic. So it's probably something. But yeah, somebody who has some light could come here because I don't want to go into that in the dark.
Well, we have torches, so unless you want to go try and figure out how to open the smithery room.
Seems like a option to go down there then.
Okay, let's push on. Unless there's anything else in here? No?
I don't think
Anything
so.
in the desks? Anything like in the desks, or are they just like workbenches?
There's workbenches.
Okay. Yeah.
So you head down the corridor rather than back out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You head down the corridor, and that slamming noise does get louder as you work down. Eventually, those of you with light, or if Balrick is leading with the beam torch, you come to a door that appears to be slamming. It looks like essentially a large blast door that every so often the metal either side is just going ding, ding, as it's spasmodically slamming shut and then recoiling open again. There are no other doors exiting here, so if you wish to continue down this tunnel, you're going to have to find a way through that door.
Well, that's what the clanging was then.
Lesley looks and goes, I could jump through that.
No, Lesley. No, you can't. No, stop.
Yeah, I can.
No,
What
stop.
happens if I
I've
take
got
a crossbow
worse.
and poke it through and let it get crushed?
So you get like really up close and put
Crossbow bolt.
crossbow bolt's like that long. As you get close, you notice this door is thick, so like the crossbow bolt doesn't go all the way through. It's like a proper sealable blast door. But yeah, you put the crossbow bolt in there. The thing is exploded into splinters.
Ah.
Solid metal crossbow bolt.
You put a solid metal crossbow bolt in. Sorry, it's deformed.
Okay.
Heavily deformed. It's not shattered to pieces. It's still metal, but it's like
Yeah.
the world's heaviest smithing hammer just beat that thing to hell.
The 2 metal boot shapes that I've got,
Yeah.
can I fish them out of the suit?
Mm-hmm.
Put them like soul to soul, and like put that into the gap.
Yeah. I need
They
you to
are
make
2
me-
like solid bits of metal.
I need you to make a dex check.
Yep.
Hey, do you want me to do that for not Ximori? You've got okay. You've got Ximori.
Oh, I've got this essay looking back as I roll a 6.
Ximori.
Glory doesn't
I've
have
got
hands anymore.
Yeah, you're momentarily distracted as you put that in, and fortunately, low dice rolls. You're putting them in and pulling your hands out, so you only take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as they slam on you.
Ah,
And what happens is you see the metal buckle, these doors slam into the boots. That metal buckles and it then recoils back out. The boots drop to the floor, and then the door continues doing its smashing thing until the boots are essentially, through recoil, jettisoned out, and one is on either side of the door.
right. We need something that goes the full length of the doorway, I think.
What
What
are
are
you
those tables
trying
made
to
out
do?
of?
Because I want to
Wedge
make
open the door.
Wedge open.
The door-
So your problem is because the door is constantly shutting and opening, that anything you put in there is essentially going to have vibrations until it's like shaken out, unless you manage to jam something in the full doorway.
What were those work tables made out of?
They were made of metal, but they weren't necessarily thick.
Yeah, but like if we get them in at a good angle. If we gum this up enough.
You can certainly try.
Hang on, I've got an idea. I go back and I get the door that I ripped off its hinges.
Sure. Okay.
Right. Here's my thinking. Doors, right? These doors. Breaking stuff. This door. Also a door. And I'll put it like at an angle
Yeah.
in
okay.
there.
Make me. I'll call this strength sleight of hand.
With
Strength to wedge it, and the sleight of hand is to get the angle right and the timing right.
while he does this,
17.
17. Bryn?
I was just going to ask: is it like a door that? Sorry, I missed it. Is it a door that closes like vertically, or is it diagonally?
It's.
So it's that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really angry Sainsbury's front door.
With a 17, you have wedged this, and it is like it's taking a beating doing this. Is like there are heavy pistons, and it is crumpling, but it certainly will help you try to get through.
I would like to try and get through.
Make me a dexterity save at advantage.
This dice is betraying me today. That is 12. Let's have a new dice.
Is that the Dakota Irish dice?
Yep.
Well, it's not helping you today.
I'm swapping over to the
as-
Dakota Irish dice.
As you jump through, your large form dislodges the table, and it spins with you through the doorway into the other side. But in that process, it slams closed on your thigh. You
Ow.
definitely feel something go. Whether it's a full leg break, you don't know, but you definitely have compartment syndrome. As you take 22 points of bludgeoning damage, and your movement speed is reduced by 10 feet. But you are through the door.
I collapse on the other side, shouting loudly.
Is there a lever?
Early, stand back. I'm gonna.
Shake it off!
Ximori, I'm coming through. I'm just gonna dad mode, adrenaline zone in, and like see the pattern, see the matrix.
Make me a dex save.
Deck follows you.
Deck, stay behind, and that is an 18 plus. Plus.
Dex not that dumb.
There's better pathfinding than Baldur's Gate.
25 total.
Yeah, you get right up close to it, almost like that. Do you remember the first season of Doctor Who where Christopher Eccleston's going through the rotating blades?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. We just like, and then you just step through and just clang. You feel your cape like get caught before it reopens again, and you are through the hole perfectly.
Feel a little waft of cold, like air from the frost fjords in front of me. I can feel home, and then boom.
Yeah. You are through.
I whisper a little thank you prayer to something. I don't know what.
Leslie's cocky.
And then I'll drop down and I'm going to try and medicine check a splint onto Ximori's leg.
What does Lesley have to dexterity saving throws?
Quite a lot. They use scimitars.
Presumably it's plus 6.
Probably, yeah, I reckon plus
I don't
6.
think fighters are proficient in dex saves.
No, that's strength and dex.
It's strength and dex.
Okay, so plus 6. Not good enough.
It's being minced by a door. It's the D&D cycle
Why is
again.
Lesley doing this?
A door is killing us.
Lesley was showing off. Lesley.
No,
takes...
it is strength and constitution.
Okay, yeah, Lesley definitely first. Lesley takes 20 points of bludgeoning damage. And their movement speed is reduced by 10. Lesley tries to essentially forward roll through the thing and gets their ankle crushed. Lesley has a terrible limp right now.
I would love to have helped him there, but I am splinting Ximori's leg with medicine, if that's okay. And then I look at him like, Lesley, I told you no.
This makes me only slightly faster than all of you.
I've had worse injuries.
Can I attempt to medicine their legs together again?
Okay.
Not to like, it doesn't necessarily have to remove any conditions, just I'm going to try and splint their legs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ximori's is a botch job. 8 plus 5, 13.
Why are you stabbing knives into me?
Joanna is looking at the rest
of all splinters from the door that broke. So it's all just like boards. I'm just like getting boards.
Oh, but it's made of metal. It's made of metal.
And I'm going to go up to Lesley and do the same. Nat 20. Well, I've learned my mistakes there. All right.
You're better with ankles.
I'll take away Leslie's movement speed reduction for that.
You're better with ankles than you are with thighs.
You successfully strap up Leslie's ankles such that they're in pain while using it, but they can't move. What are the rest of you doing on the other side of the door?
I imagine Balrick's just sort of like wrapped, like bent some metal around, but it's also sort of gone around my knee, so I can't really bend the knee properly either.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call through. Have you found a lever?
I will look for a lever. I've got 2 crying children here.
Roll me an investigation check.
So tempted to push you in the door.
Another nat 20.
He's on fire. You find a big red button next to the door that's making a lot of slamming.
I walk through.
Okay. As you walk through, you begin to hear it creaking.
Quick.
I'm jumping through as soon as I hear it starting.
Aderyn, quick.
All of you roll me an initiative.
Oh no.
Oh no.
14.
All of the ones that aren't through, I assume.
Yes.
10.
15.
All above 10. You all successfully get through before the door slams behind you.
What about Joanna?
Joanna rolled an 11 on the die, plus her modifier, so she's fine.
Togrim is like that close.
Well, I don't think we're going back, but the good news is... She points behind you all.
What? Can I hit the button again?
Yeah.
What happens?
Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
No, I'm not going through. I'm just pressing
Roll
the
me a
button.
dexterity saving throw.
22.
You narrowly avoid taking 2 points of lightning damage as the thing arcs at you as the button seemingly is not working fully.
Fine.
You get a little like static shock of it, but the actual full arc of lightning you avoid. As Joanna points behind you, I think there we're going to find some answers. And you can see behind, up like a metal gantry that leads up, is a large door with some glass paneling to the side that very clearly looks like some sort of control room.
I'm gonna help Ximori up and put an arm over my shoulder, sort of limp around. Lesley can deal with it himself.
Oh, thanks. As he like looks around and finds Togrim and starts using Togrim as a walking stick.
Well, let's go then. And I'll start moving off.
You head up the gantry and you come to the doorway, and you can see that it's again almost like another blast door that's been sealed shut, but there is a panel to the side of it that still appears to be glowing a faint blue.
I'm gonna slap my way against the wall so that other people can deal with this.
I'm going to
I
have
think
a
that's
look.
entirely fair.
I'm
Can I
going
have
to
a
have
look at the panel as well?
Yeah. Each of you roll me Arcana checks.
Oh, and geeks.
22.
Party nerd.
5. 19 plus 6.
19 plus 6. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm grabbing something that might become relevant in a second.
Oh dear.
That's a map.
Might become relevant, depends how you act. You look at this panel and it's very clearly a essentially very similar panel to the one that you originally opened to get in here. It doesn't appear aged, it doesn't appear damaged, but what it does appear is that it is currently keeping the system locked, and you don't have a passcode.
I have a quick look in the diary that I've got to double check that there's nothing in there.
Yeah, roll me an investigation check.
They've helpfully written it down on a post-it note.
Dirty
1,
20.
2,
You know
3,
how
4.
security keeps you making change your password? Eventually you're just going to write it down on a post-it note. Dirty 20. You look through here. You do find reference to the key code. It does seem that they did write it down, like part way through the after the incident, seemingly as a reference of if I'm one of the first to go, then at least someone else can trying to get into the control room. So, you have that passcode.
Despite knowing what it said in the diary in that it wasn't working, I'm going to enter it anyway.
Right, 0451. That's
343.
No, it's 0800 00 1066.
that's too many numbers.
314 5926 5358 979 323 846 264.
Are you doing pi?
Of course it is, it's Chris. It's 343. You type it in, and it seems to accept it. It flashes green momentarily before very harshly then flashing red, and then a voice pops out and goes, "Access denied. You're new. Access hasn't been requested in centuries. Who are you?"
Somebody who found the door and wanted to help.
This is a sealed breach. Opening the door exposes risks.
Life is a risk.
I'm fine with a little less risk right now.
Dangers must be contained for safety of everyone.
That's why I'm here.
There are dangers leaking out, though.
Breach detected 74 minutes ago. At southwest entrance. Was that you?
That was where we found a green fire elemental of some kind.
Logs don't record elemental, but door was warded against intrusions. You have information. Come inside. And the door opens up.
In we go.
It'll help.
Aderyn, roll me an insight check.
11.
Joanna is doing a bad job at hiding her her unease as you all step into the room.
It'll help anybody.
Yeah, we help you come in.
You enter into a room that is glass panelled along the right-hand side to you, looking out into a room that, as you glance down, is very clearly a large refinery. There are a number of large furnaces and forges and smithing blocks that this overlooks. Elsewhere in this room, along the back wall, are a number of pieces of what look like weird contraptions made of metal that have a number of like glass panes on them. What look like pegs that you would use to tie up a horse, but seemingly movable, and glowing crystals that would that currently appear quite dimmed. Only a few of them appear to be on. And in the center of the room, up a short, small kind of like 3 or 4 steps, is a slightly raised platform with a number of desks out the front, each one with a chair stationed behind it, and then just behind them is a small colonnade that rises about maybe 3 feet, up to about Togrim's top of Togrim's chest, of which a small green gem just gently floats and spins about just a couple of inches above that. And then you hear the door shut behind you. And Balrick, you hear it lock.
Behind us.
Yeah.
I really don't like being trapped down here in it's unnatural.
At that point, the gem floats away from this central colonnade and comes up to you, Tauri. You were the one who entered the code.
Correct.
You speak weird. When are you from?
A lot changes in over 500 years.
Indeed it does. Where did you find the code? You're not part of this company.
Found us in a dead worker's diary.
And you think that gives you the right to steal company secrets?
I haven't stolen anything.
You have stolen proprietary information and used it against the company's wishes.
The company doesn't exist anymore.
The company does exist. I exist, and therefore the company exists. If there is members of staff of the company, then the company continues to exist.
Not if the company doesn't exist to anyone known anymore.
That does not track logic. The company exists because people work at the company. There cannot be a company if there are people working.
Are you a people?
It turns around to approach you. I am a I was installed in this establishment to ensure the proper running of the refinery and ensure safety practices were maintained.
Like, what are you? I've not met a floating gem before. I think I'd remember that.
I am a Stage 6 arcane intelligence used for the integration into existing systems to maintain their safe and stable efficiency.
So you're, like, alive?
I am intelligent.
Huh.
What is currently unsafe in this refinery?
It like swoops back to its colonnade and you see like wisps of green light kind of in it and refract off. Uncontained chemicals. Still present. Uncleaned. There is a containment breach in the southwest entrance. That was you. You forced a containment breach. Why?
We didn't breach containment.
The doors were opened 76 minutes ago. That lines up with the timelines you speak of. Therefore, logic predicates that it was you.
I mean, you're kind of like in our sewer, and we were sent to like clear the sewers out. So we just kind of came across your door that was in the way as well.
Roll me a persuasion check.
That is 18 plus 1, 19.
Narrowly avoided an issue there. Was the refinery causing a blockage?
I mean, there's a door. There isn't meant to be a door. And, like... So, you know, like, when you've got a tunnel, and the tunnel's meant to be, like, all sealed up.
Yes.
But then there's, like, another door onto that tunnel that sort of, like, is going all, like, zappy and not, like, working properly.
I think I can understand.
So, you are breaching our tunnel, and our tunnel's breaching your tunnel. It's like two breaches at once, you know.
That logic does not contain if we predate you, then by all extension you breach us. This facility was sealed, and it was unsealed 78 minutes ago.
Yeah, because there's, like, dangerous stuff around here that, like, we have to deal with.
Do you know what caused the opening of the entrance?
Yeah, it was that one. I pointed at Joanna.
It spins on Joanna. You are a threat. You must be removed.
Harry just goes, fuck.
Is going to force her to make a charisma save. Which she succeeds. You see the green gem rotate, and there is a pulse which all of you blink from, directed directly at Joanna, and she she takes it for a second. You see her legs and start turning towards one of the pieces of machinery on the side, where there's like cables hanging from it, and then she's just like, I don't think so. That was awfully rude, if you don't mind. I simply came here to make use of your facilities. Wasn't aware that there were issues, so it might be a good idea if you were to provide us with a history log of what occurred here. I'm not sure whether everyone here cares about it, but I do.
I do.
Turns around. I do not take orders from threats.
Technically, they're a customer.
Do they have Gold?
Probably. You seem like a reasonable gem.
My duty is to this company and to the refinery to ensure its safety standards are well maintained. Right now, there is a breach, and I have not heard a valid explanation as to why you have caused the breach that occurred 81 minutes ago.
I mean, you're basically a ruin here, buddy. Like, I've seen, like, buildings up on the surface that are, like, way younger than this, and this is just, like, under the ground. People are gonna, like, come opening it up at some point because nobody knows what's here, you know?
Then this facility must be completely decontaminated. Thank you for the guidance. We must remove all threats from here and permanently seal the chamber. Simplest way to start is with life forms.
Double fuck.
You gonna, like, let us out? Clean us, maybe?
The
No,
simplest
they're
way
going
to
to
remove
try
all life
and
forms
kill us.
is to remove them where they stand.
But that's
Hold
a
on.
danger
If
to the
you
company.
direct us, we can help clean up the contaminations.
Roll me a persuasion check. You guys haven't been making great arguments here. Your basically argument has been your company doesn't exist and people are going to come here anyway.
I mean, they are. It's like a thing locked up for several billion years.
I'm not saying your arguments are wrong. I'm saying they're not very persuasive.
Roll a persuasion check.
14 was that?
Yeah.
You haven't really done much persuading, to be fair, Tauri.
I know.
14. It pauses to consider this option. But
Also,
All
like,
the other people that worked here are dead, so maybe we can help.
yes, they...
okay, you've got, like, no workers, so if you want to hire some workers, we could help.
I am not
Probably.
permitted to authorize use of company funds. I cannot.
And who is? Because you're the only person in the company. So that makes you the person running the company, because there's no one else to report to. So you're the foreman right now.
I was not given authorization to...
But you're the only one left, so you're the only one who can authorize it. Because there's nothing else left, so it's just you. So you're the company. You said so yourself.
What's
And that makes you the foreman. I've worked on plenty of factory floors and that. And when there's only one person left, the most senior one becomes the one in charge, and that's you right now, isn't it?
Roll me a persuasion
Or is there
check.
another blob somewhere?
This is a very hard DC for this argument.
That is a 21, natural 20.
21. Still not good enough. It does continue the conversation, though. But I am not programmed to access those funds. I cannot, even if, by your logic, I should.
Forget about the
Wait,
funds for a
we're...
moment. We can help. You can
Also,
direct
like-
us, and we can...
What
do
would
the
it
thing.
take for me to be able to buy the company?
Yeah, what's the worth of your company?
The estimated worth of the entire Dalian smithery, with current recorded supplies and machinery included, is... You see it goes back to its plinth to gather as much information as possible, and it is genuinely sitting there for a while, so you guys have a chance to talk amongst yourselves while it's distracted.
What if we tell it that we are the inspectors and that it's passed our tests so far, but now the next test is that it has to do what we tell it to do? Maybe we could
Usually stuff like asks for a certificate or something.
we could make a certificate, Ximori. Come
We
on.
need to make it within the
Possibly-
next 30 seconds.
Does nobody have any paper?
Joanna goes into a class.
I don't read much.
This usually only works on people, but I'm willing to give it a try.
Yeah. Do it. Just flash a card, anything.
On board?
We can try
I
it.
mean,
We
it's-
can also see if it will let me buy the
Might as well.
company. That might work.
Yeah.
How rich
I mean,
are you?
we're buying like new stuff. We're not buying it new. It's damaged goods. So got to be a fairly sizable discount on that.
Also,
Might
if
be
they have to do
vintage.
clean up and deal with monsters that are on the inside, that's definitely taking a percentage off.
Yeah.
The estimated cost of the entire Dalian smithery, with all materials and machinery included, is 100,000 gold pieces.
And how much are you taking off the need of the cleanup, getting rid of the monsters, and the fact that you are currently underneath the city, and therefore I need to do work to get here?
Also, like, you're not like part of this. Like, you're not part of the building, though, are you? You're an employee.
I was not including myself in those costs.
Yeah.
What your contract would be.
Is your company property, aren't you?
Tauri, what was your argument for haggling? It's clear that you were trying to haggle there. I just wasn't clear on what your
It's the fact that the clear up is still needed due to the damage.
You're essentially going used car salesman on this.
Not fully, but the fact that they have already said that there are. I'm ignoring the breach, okay? But they've said damage is
just
done.
to be clear to just to be clear to all of you, the referred to breach was you opening the door.
Yes, I know. I've worked that out. That's why I'm ignoring it.
That dink wasn't there before. That dink wasn't there on the asking price.
No, that thing wasn't there before we kicked it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the fact that they've admitted that there are damages, they've admitted that there are issues with it, and they've admitted that there are things inside that are dangerous. Therefore, that all takes money on. That lowers the price because that's an additional cost that we'd have to do to get it up to
I
code.
like how Bryn heard 100,000 gold pieces and went, I can haggle this down to a price I can afford. But roll me a persuasion check.
I know I can't do that even with the checkbook.
Right now.
I wish to stress this. I know the checkbook.
I don't think
cannot
your
do
mother's
this.
company is worth this.
Neither do I.
This is fun delay tactics right now.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm just curious what the rest of you are trying to do while this is happening.
I'm just being a belligerent, like, hey, no, hang on.
27.
27. Understood.
And that's the last of my inspiration used.
You can use inspiration on yourself at this level.
No, I didn't use my birthday inspiration.
Oh, that
I
inspiration.
still had an inspiration left over.
Unclear with you as a bard.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I'm out of bardic inspiration die anyway.
You see it like go back to the plinth and just go, estimated dangers, hiring mercenaries to remove would reduce the fee by an estimated 5,000 gold pieces. The equipment itself is of decent repair that any self-respecting artifice mage could repair in a matter of a few days. So
but then we got to think about land tax and stamp duty. I mean, you're right under a city. That zoning's going to be horrible. And I mean,
you at the minute, as you say, this is a delaying tactic. I need to know what you're delaying for, because we could just continue going around this loop of getting you maybe down to 90,000 gold.
Aderyn has said they're preparing. Aderyn has said they're preparing to say they were being an inspector. So I'm basically trying to give time for them to come up with something that will act as a certificate.
While this haggling is ongoing, Aderyn, it's over to you.
By the way, I am curious as to what the price comes down to later.
Joanna said she had something to use as a...
I mean, she was holding it out if you had an idea, because Joanna's kind of...
Is it just a piece of paper?
It is a blank piece of paper.
It is a blank piece of paper, okay.
Except when you look at it, ooh.
Yeah, you haven't thought of this, have you?
When you look at it, it's blank. Yeah.
It's blank.
When you look at it, it's blank. When Lesley looks at it, it's like, why do you have inspector's credentials? And Joanna just gives you a wink.
I'm like, excellent, this is gonna work. Right. Okay.
And another thing, this whole thing anyway wouldn't have even been a problem, but we were having to help this inspector over here to make their way in to do their inspection. And I mean, you're getting in the way of government business now. We're government appointed representatives of this here city that you're under.
Is there any object nearby that resembles a pen or a pencil or just?
Yeah, on the desks near the front.
Okay, I'm gonna grab that. Is there like a clipboard or something as well?
Yeah.
Excellent. Approach. That is correct. I did not want to reveal this so soon because usually we conduct business in an undercover sort of way because you understand inspections work better when the inspected are not prepared.
That makes sense.
Secret's out. Yes, the secret's out. We are here to inspect, and I am very disappointed so far with my inspection. This is not looking good for the company.
Roll me a deception check. I will give you advantage for the various delaying tactics and everything else you have.
I think at this point the sim is just confused.
The AI is starting to get bewildered.
Breaking it.
I might use my initiative. My
initiative.
Get it to show us pictures of hands.
Dara wants combat, everyone.
Show us pictures of hands. Show me pictures of hands.
Deception. What's my deception? Oh, I've got quite decent deception. Okay, 6. 12.
I'm assuming you flash the credential.
Yeah, I'm like.
The AI looks at it and just goes, if those are your credentials, they are blank.
But you must be on the fritz, mate. That says Inspector. This isn't even deception. That looks like Inspector to me.
It does.
Your interesting reading capabilities impaired, and I'm gonna pretend to write that down.
Yeah. When was the last time you had a service?
It has been. You see it tilt. Tell you what, Tauri, you've been having a decent conversation with it. Roll me an insight check.
A natural 20 for 25.
25. While this thing has maintained a pretty solid sense of self and identity and workplace, it is somewhat degraded. As the comment made about when was your last service, when was this thing's last service is a question it doesn't know at this point because it's been
too long.
Nearing a millennia.
Its clock resets and it doesn't know.
Yeah, it's like...
Because, surely, something as sophisticated as you needs a regular checkup, right? That's got to be company policy. You wouldn't just leave, a defective thing in charge.
Yes.
So when was your last inspection? Where were you last checked?
It was...
Because, if not, then you're not fit to run this, are you?
Response. Interesting.
Yeah, if you're defective, you can't be the one in charge.
We
want to
have
knock some money off the price as well. I'm not buying defective equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a very important question that will determine whether you still have full authority over your assigned programming domain.
It's one of the questions, isn't it?
Very important to pass this test. What was the latest update in the breach containment security protocol laws as updated per last fortnight?
Records have not been updated in
This thing hasn't even had its updates. Let's be going here telling us it's going to incinerate everything.
Centuries! Fail. This is not acceptable.
Roll me a deception check. I will give you advantage for the absolute overload of information this thing is having to process from haggling, gaslighting, and an inspector.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Usually see this thing just go AI insufficient for purpose. Following industry standards, I must submit myself for hibernation and upgrade. This facility will shut down.
No. No.
And it flies over. It, instead of floating on the cradle, it then rests. It properly like embeds and goes flush with the cradle. And you see the green light just whew, and all of the lights that, even the few sparse lights in this room, just whew, and an audible, like, low thrum that you had all been feeling, like the noise you have just sitting in a kitchen with a fridge on, just dies. And you're in
I hate
silence.
working with foremen. Honestly, like, you get like a foreman from the city who thinks he's all that, and then like they come down, and they're getting in the way of everything.
Well,
I might have not enough blood.
Well, I'll certainly commend you all on successfully avoiding contamination purging. But with this facility now completely depowered, I'm going to have to find somewhere else to repair my compass.
Can we not turn it back on manually?
Unless you can fix it.
I highly doubt it. Based on what I was seeing in here while you were engaging in conversation, this place was on emergency power, and trying to get anything back online now it's turned off is going to be an investment of resources I don't have.
Well, on the plus side, you've not been purged, so
It's
you're
true.
welcome.
Might be a little bit of power left in the system, though. Might help us answer something. She goes over to one of the consoles on the side and just starts plugging in some fairly she seems to know what she's doing, and plugs her compass in, and you see like small like tendrils of arcane pass over to her compass, and eventually comes back out, and she then holds it out to you, and like a holocron from Star Wars kind of thing, you start seeing like reams of information, and she's like flicking through it. She's like, I don't think the AI here had full grasp of what was going on, but it seems like the records of moving chemicals and dangers occurred after the last life form was detected, which implies it was connected in some way to the passings of the last workers?
I like ghosts and stuff.
I've never seen ghosts take the form of burning chemicals, molten metal. Yeah,
And I don't really believe in ghosts, I'll be honest.
you should.
I've never seen one.
Yes, but it's probably not the weirdest thing we've dealt with if we've met a ghost.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem likely, though, does it?
Did you really expect the mushroom thing to be likely?
I mean, that's like a living creature. That makes sense.
Joanna just leans into Balrick. Mushroom creature?
I don't want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
He set it on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, like ghosts, Come on. That's like storybook stuff.
I tend to find the best stories end up being true.
I don't know. I've heard a pretty weird story about a woodsman with a massive axe.
I believe in ghosts.
There's lots of tales of the hauntings in the Frost Fjords.
Yeah, but they're like spooky stories.
Eh. Sometimes the cold winds.
I've killed plenty of stuff, but it hasn't turned into ghosts. So
sometimes the cold winds up there are tinged with
Cold
the sound
winds, yeah.
which should be gone.
It's audible illusions, isn't it? It's wind blowing through rocks and stuff.
I hope so. But,
Probably.
if you ever come up to hear them, you might believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, ghost talk aside, I don't have any more reason to be down here. Would be nice to potentially put any remaining spirits to rest if they are indeed, but it might also be best just to seal this place back up and leave it as a respectful tomb.
I mean, I've lost quite a lot of blood, so I'd rather not be here.
I will apologise. I didn't entirely expect it to be that or this dangerous for you.
Workers' comp is to be factored in as well, and not just sort of crumple into a small pile on the ground.
I have.
Would you have any issues if I looked at trying to restart what they did here?
What do you mean?
This is an amazing place. It should not be forgotten.
No, certainly not, but it is currently infested with elemental ghosts?
Yes, it would need clearing out.
Elementals, maybe.
Like that, but would you have any issues if it was something I looked into?
Who am I to stop you? I'm just a traveller on a voyage.
I haven't got any food. I'm really hungry.
If I get a spoon run in, I probably
Pulls out a banana.
I just eat the banana, skin on.
I don't know whether you've ever seen a banana.
No,
exactly. I don't know to peel it.
Well, my compass has a tiny bit of power left before I'm going to have to figure something else out. But hey, always up for a new challenge. Do you want the quick route out?
Like to have a little.
Wait, how far out?
So you don't want the quick route out?
No.
How far out?
Back to where we came in, I suspect.
Because we've got a guard upstairs waiting for us to let us back out the sewers again. And that'll be awkward questions. I mean, it'll be awkward questions if we appear out of I think we climbed out of a bog or something.
Excellent liars.
I do talk a lot.
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know if I'm a good liar. I think I just talk enough to overpower them.
Look, it's up to you. I can get you and all of us out relatively quickly, but if you wanted to explore further, hey, I'm always up for finding out new things.
I'd like to have a quick look as we leave. I don't know when we'll be coming
Just to be
back.
clear, I'm proposing that I teleport you away from here.
That's a magic thing, isn't it?
That is a magic thing, yes. He's a bit funny over the magic. We'll take the slow way out.
I mean, many people are funny about magic. It's not a weird thing.
You make it weirder.
Think of it this way. It's less a spell and more like walking through a doorway.
Yes, we would like to, guys.
The second to last doorway I walked through crushed my leg.
I can almost guarantee you it won't.
Also, walking your leg hurts, so...
I'll look at Aderyn.
You don't want to get burned again, do you? Or worse? Do you want to step in dirty water again? Or do you want to get trapped in another weird room again?
I would advise with your leg you not walk through sewage.
Togrim, does it sound safe?
Sounds safe enough to me, yep.
Okay, I would quite like to be out of here. It's getting dark and I'm getting memories again.
Can I have a quick look around while they get ready for the teleportation?
What are you looking for?
I wanted to see if we could actually find, because we're in the Forge control room, aren't we?
Yes.
Could I have a quick look down in the Forge, see if there's anything interesting in there?
Sure, roll me a perception check.
Perception.
Holy
dirty
Avenger.
20.
A 20. Yeah, Holy Avenger,
yeah.
Vorpal sword.
There's the frozen form of a very buff dwarf with a long Mohican.
Grandpa?
You see a large chamber with an absolute massive furnace in the center. There's a slight distortion as it gives off some residual heat from its finally powering down. There are a number of large troughs and molds and wheelbarrows of what look like ore around the room. Some large tools that seem to be suitable for dealing with large pieces of metal that are very hot. From this distance, as I say, it is a refinery room, so it is a place where ore and raw materials are processed into usable for smithing. But it is clearly a large enterprise.
Anything in particular catch my eye, or just the general?
I don't really know what you don't really know what to be looking for.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Is the thing. You don't have a lot of information as to necessarily what this place was dealing with, because you haven't found that information.
That's fair. Cool.
But you can certainly come back in the future.
I mean, we know the door's here now, so we can make our way back here.
I tell you what I will give you with that dirty 20 is that it definitely looks like based on the variety of tools and molds, your assumption based on your previous background is they didn't work with one kind of metal. They worked with a wide variety of metals.
Cool. I wouldn't mind it if we kept this whole thing kind of quiet when we tell them we cleared the sewers.
Yeah, works for me. I don't want people coming in here. I can fill with ghost fire or whatever.
Now you're getting it.
I mean, not the ghosts are real, but the fire stuff was weird.
Right, are we going?
I think so, yes.
Excellent. Well, gather round. And you see she turns some dials on her compass, and a shimmering doorway appears briefly in front of you that you are all instinctively, like gravitationally almost like pulled towards, compelling you to walk through. She walks through first. Do you follow?
Yep.
I am hesitant.
I'll can I hold Ximori's hand if they will let me?
Yeah. Sorry about all the burns and stuff.
No, that's okay. We just need to get you cleaned up. Okay, come on.
I will be led through the door.
You step through this shimmering doorway that looks like deep space, nebulas drifting across and starlight.
Put us in space.
Step across and you come back out into the noisy streets of Xir Dothras, in a shadowed alleyway, keeping you hidden from the general populace as the last two of you step through the doorway, kind of fades into nothingness. Joanna looks down at her compass, just like, well, mundane travel for me for a bit. I think I'll head south. There was someone in Tibera who could help. I think I'm still friends with them. Anyway, thanks for coming. It was lovely to have company.
Try not to get eaten by slimes again.
I will certainly try. She turns to you, Aderyn. Goes, do get that looked into. You don't often come across people with psychic potential. You've got a gift, but if you don't know where it came from, it can be dangerous.
What are you talking about?
She turns around to Deck, just kind of pets Deck on the head. You are an excellent good boy, and don't let them tell you anything about your so-called prophecy or anything like that. You are just a good boy. Okay? But if you can get snacks off them, do it. Pats Deck on the head. Well, I'm certain I'll probably be seeing all of you again at some point. At least I hope so. And do think about that name. As I've said, it's much easier to call a group of people by a singular name. But until then, Aderyn, Balrick, Lesley, Tauri, Togrim, Ximori, tell a good story. And travel safe. And she just walks around the corner of the alleyway and out into the street.
It seemed like, they were going to do something, but they just walked. I mean, we could probably just catch up to them.
Is this because I was really good at playing pretend with a piece of paper?
Probably. I mean, it said Inspector on it, so, that's not hugely...
Wait, you actually, obviously we were pretending and said Inspector on it. You actually could see Inspector.
No, it said, Facility Inspector, Aderyn. It had a symbol on it and everything.
It was completely blank.
No.
Yeah, like a logo, it was a little bit like your tattoo.
I don't know why it had your name on it though. I don't know how you figured that out so quickly. It was proper penmanship as well. It was impressive.
The eye really worked for it, 'cause it was I'm inspecting with the eye.
It was blank.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Did Togrim see the name on the paper?
Yeah.
Or did I? Okay.
I assume everyone but Aderyn saw name.
But while you're pondering all of that, and just who this woman was and what the words she said as she left actually mean, I think there is a decent place for us to stop. As you are back on the surface of Xir Dothras, having not exited the way you entered the sewers, but at least out of the muck, even if you are still a bit grimy, burnt and sewage covered. And we will zoom out as you figure out what to do with the rest of the second day of Tianlong. But we will pause telling our story there and pick it up next time. Until then, see you later.